Let's get right into it. Number 7. The silent observer. At parties, you're not the loud one. You're the one standing quietly near the snack table, watching people argue about whether pineapple belongs on pizza and secretly analyzing everyone's childhood trauma based on how they hold their drink. You don't speak much because your brain is too busy processing. While others are blurting out half-baked thoughts, you're in the background, mentally editing entire essays before you even open your mouth. Psychologists call this internal verbalization, and it's a hallmark of deep thinkers. You call it, "Why do words keep failing me when my brain's got a full TED Talk queued up?" Observing instead of reacting is actually a sign of cognitive empathy, the ability to understand emotions without immediately drowning in them. You read micro-expressions, tone shifts, and weird social energy like subtitles in a foreign movie. People might assume you're shy, but really, you're just watching the chaos unfold like a documentary narrated by David Attenborough. So next time someone calls you quiet, remember, they're just uncomfortable being seen by someone who notices everything. Number 6. The existential sleeplessness. It's 2:43 a.m. You're not asleep. You're staring at the ceiling wondering why humans decided money should exist, or if dogs understand death, or what color anxiety would be if it were a paint swatch. Welcome to existential insomnia when your intelligence refuses to power down. The smarter your brain, the more likely it is to wander into philosophical wormholes at inconvenient times. Studies show that highly intelligent people often have hyperactive default mode networks, which means their brains keep running thought simulations even when they're supposed to rest. Normal people count sheep. You're counting potential futures, failed dreams, and the ethical implications of self-driving cars. It's exhausting, but it's also a sign that your mind operates on multiple levels of abstraction. You don't just think what, you think why and what if, and what's the point of anything anyway. Basically, your brain doesn't have an off switch. It has an "Are you sure you want to exit this program?" pop-up that you keep clicking no on. Number 5. The empathy overload. You ever feel other people's emotions like a Wi-Fi signal you didn't ask to connect to? Someone nearby is sad, and suddenly you're sad but with none of the context. Congratulations, you might have a high emotional IQ. Smart people don't just process data, they process feelings, micro-expressions, and the weird ambient tension of a room like emotional detectives. It's called affective empathy, and it's both a blessing and a curse. Because while it means you understand people deeply, it also means you feel like a walking antenna picking up other people's static. It's why you can't enjoy small talk. It feels like watching a movie in slow motion when you already know the twist ending. You're hyper-aware when someone's lying to themselves, pretending they're okay, or secretly seething. You pick up on the subtle eyebrow twitch or the half-second pause after "I'm fine." You're basically the human version of noise-canceling headphones that accidentally pick up more noise. But that's also why people trust you, confide in you, or accidentally trauma dump on you 5 minutes after meeting you. You don't just feel emotions, you run emotional diagnostics. It's empathy, with Wi-Fi 6 speeds. Number 4. The Pattern Addict. You can't unsee patterns. Once you notice something repeating, your brain connects dots faster than a conspiracy theorist with a corkboard. You spot themes in movies, hypocrisies in politics, and inconsistencies in your own thoughts. This is called pattern recognition, and it's one of the strongest indicators of higher intelligence. It's what allows humans to invent things, solve mysteries, and also, unfortunately, overanalyze texts from their crush. Your mind naturally looks for structure even when it's not helpful, like finding a hidden meaning in your friend's choice of emoji, or assuming the universe is trying to teach you something every time you spill coffee. Nope, that's just gravity. But here's the beautiful part. Pattern recognition is how we create art, theories, and memes that actually make sense. You take chaos and find order. You connect random dots until a picture appears, even if it's just a mental doodle that makes you giggle at 3 a.m. Basically, you're the kind of person who can find symbolism in a sandwich, and that's kind of brilliant. Number 3. The Self-Roasting Philosopher. You ever insult yourself so cleverly it loops back around to sounding profound? Like, maybe I'm just the protagonist in a badly written side plot? That's self-awareness, another sneaky sign of intelligence. Smart people are often their own harshest critics because they can see themselves from the outside. You're aware of your flaws, your ego, your weird habits, which is good, until it turns into mental stand-up comedy at your own expense. Psychologists call this metacognitive reflection. It's the ability to step outside your own thoughts and analyze them like you're grading your own essay. That level of self-observation is rare and often uncomfortable. The downside is that self-awareness sometimes mutates into self-doubt. You question your worth, your direction, your everything. But remember, People with low intelligence don't usually question if they're smart. The fact that you're constantly auditing your own brain means the lights are very much on in there. So yeah, maybe you're roasting yourself, but at least it's well-written material. Number 2, the existential imposter. You've probably said, I'm not actually that smart, even while solving problems other people didn't notice existed. Welcome to imposter syndrome, the psychological tax on intelligence. The more you know, the more you realize how much you don't. It's the Dunning-Kruger curve in reverse. Fools think they're brilliant, the brilliant think they're fools. You constantly compare yourself to impossible standards or to other smart people who also secretly feel dumb. But here's the secret. Genuine intelligence requires humility. You question yourself because your awareness outpaces your ego. You recognize nuance, contradiction, and uncertainty, things the overconfident blissfully ignore. So next time your brain says, you're a fraud, remember, that's not insecurity, that's meta-awareness doing its weird victory dance. The dumb don't doubt, the wise overthink. Basically, if you ever feel like an imposter, you're probably the real deal. Number 1, the Restless Rebel. You were never good at just following the rules, not because you wanted chaos, but because you needed reasons. You question authority, challenge systems, and refuse to accept "that's just how it's done" as a valid answer. That's intellectual rebellion, a trademark of high intelligence. It's not defiance for its own sake, it's curiosity wearing leather. You test boundaries because your brain wants to see what happens if you reimagine the ordinary, you redesign the norm, you deconstruct ideas until they make sense on your terms. This trait is what fuels innovation and creativity, but it also gets you labeled difficult, stubborn, or the kid who asks too many questions. Yet every major thinker, from Galileo to Ada Lovelace, was told the same thing. Smart minds don't thrive in cages, they tear holes in the fabric just to see the light come through. So if you've ever been called rebellious, skeptical, or too curious for your own good, congratulations. That's your intelligence showing. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.